We shall commence this module by studying about role of government. In the democratic world, government has a prominent role to play, more or less in all types of economic systems present in the society. But the role of government becomes more important in socialist and mixed economy as compared to capitalism in the society. Government used to make every effort in its budget for proper allocation of public goods to the people, which helps in promoting social welfare in the economy. If provision for supply of public goods is to be maintained in the society, then the government shall know about the preference, choices and priorities of the governments which is being demanded by the public. In any type of economic system, the main concern of the government authorities is to maximize social welfare. But the government should be aware of the fact that for which public good people have shown their choices. It is not only the responsibility of the government to have an idea about public choice, but same amount of responsibility is vested on the shoulders of public that they should make a list of their choices and inform the higher government authorities about their choices and the goods which is being most preferred by them. In democratic countries like India, government used to keep an account of public preferences and makes provision for supply of public goods on time by allocating the productive resources which helps in the production of public goods. Proper allocation of resources by the government helps in utilization of resources in an optimum manner, and social welfare is also maximized when the goods are being consumed by the public. Consumption, allocation and production of resources all is being analyzed and studied in various theories of public economics. These theories are also known as theories of social choice in economics. These social choice theories shows the problems in public choices and also study the problem of aggregating preferences revealed by the public. The two most important theories which help in revealing the problems of public choice are economic theory of democracy and Politico-eco-bureaucracy. After starting this module, you shall be able to understand economic theory of democracy, learn Politico-eco-bureaucracy, identify rent-seeking activities, evaluate unproductive activities, analyze difference between rent-seeking and dupe activities. We shall now discuss about the economic theory of democracy. Economic theory of democracy is a theory of political science written by Anthony Downs in his book published in 1957. Downs developed a model where economic theory can be applied in precise conditions and also shows the decision-making powers of the government in the democratic system. Downs also presented a very rational approach in the voting procedure prevailing in the democratic society and the significant conclusion which he gathered from this theory that a rational voter will never be bothered to vote in the society. In a democratic country like India, while discussing about public choices of public goods, it is equally important to take into account the presence of political parties in the society who depicts and represents the views of the public who elect them to parliament. The presence of political parties can be highlighted by the cost associated in the election process in the society. In the absence of political representatives elected by the public, then each individual in the society who wants information about various products and the benefits received from various policies will prove to be time consuming because they have to spend extra time and resources for acquiring such information if political parties are not present in the society. The cost which is being undertaken by the public for gathering information about the resources will cut down the savings of the public. They will leave aside most of their preferences. Therefore, existence of political parties and elected representatives of the public used to reduce the cost of the public and helps in collective decision making and also promotes social welfare in the society. Anthony Downs has introduced economic theory of politics which is also known as economic theory of democracy. This theory rests on two assumptions: that voters are utility maximizers, political parties are vote maximizers. The theory by Anthony Downs shows that the political parties present in the society are not showing a keen interest in allocation of resources in a proper and efficient manner in the society. Each political party in the society is interested in maximizing the number of votes they will be receiving from the public. If also the government has the capacity to take the society in achieving the Parisian optimum situation, they will do so only if they are forced from the competition received from other parties. Thus, it can be concluded that inter-party competition always forces the government to help the society in reaching the Parisian optimum situation. Anthony Downs said that the elected political representatives of the public works for their own self-interest rather than they think of the ideal goals of the public interest. Politicians will work for national interest and introduce social reforms in the society only when they want to win with maximum number of votes. Therefore, Downs concluded that vote maximization reflects the political party's behavior towards the public in a positive and friendly manner. The political parties will behave in a reasonable manner only to get maximum number of votes. Economic theory of democracy rests on the assumption that every government in the economy needs political support, so they take each and every measure in maximizing the political support. Government used to work in the democratic system where elections are being held periodically in the country. The primary goal of any party is vote maximization, which reflects the clear view about the behavior of politicians. The party which receives the maximum number of votes controls the entire government until the next election is being held. This theory also shows that preferences of the median voter play an important role in election time when severe competition is there between political parties. This theory is also known as median voter theorem, which shows that in a majority decision model, individual preferences are always single-peaked. The median voter theorem says that politicians used to study the preferences of median voter in order to get maximum number of votes. Each political party works for the same objective, that is to be elected, and therefore they introduce policies in public interest so that they can win the confidence of median voter. This theory is being criticized by various economists, and various modifications have been done in this model, which can be explained with the help of following example. A voter who is not really aware about his future is also not aware of the fact that which party rule will give him the greater utility. So, he will compare the utility of the party X provided in the various election compared to party Y if he votes for Y in the present election. In this case, the voter is not considering the raw utility, but he is looking after the trends of political parties. The various critics of this theory are: this theory does not explain all aspects of voter behavior. Voting proves to be a costly affair not only because of information cost, but also the cost which is being incurred in acquiring the polling place. It is not necessary that vote maximization politics will always give maximum number of votes to the political parties. Though these were the various criticisms that this theory faces, but still this theory is not much affected by these criticisms, because this theory is the only theory which describes the role of political parties in a democratic society and how the public goods are being supplied to the public in a systematic manner. We now study about politico-eco-bureaucracy. The performance of any economy depends upon its institutional structure, which comprises of public sector units and type of bureaucracy present in the economy. Bureaucracy is a set of various government officials who helps in the running of the government machinery. Thus, we can say that bureaucracy is a way of administratively organizing large number of people who need to work together. Thus, Bureau is a non-profit making organization which is mainly financed from a lump sum grant, rather they are engaged in the sale of output. There is severe competition in bureaucracy also. Some bureaus are cooperative in nature and they do not compete with each other, while there are bureaucrats who are opposite in nature, they compete with each other for the scarce resources. It is necessary that an analysis of the behavior of bureaus should be done and the role of bureaucrats in resource allocation should be paid specific attention, and resource allocation should be the prime motive for each bureaucrat. Such type of analysis was being done by various economists like Weber, Niskanen and Written, and this analysis came to known by the name as Politico-eco-bureaucracy theory. According to Weber, Palgrave Dictionary 2000, the bureaucrat, that is senior decision maker, is an administrator who dispassionately observes the established set of administrative rules and carries them out unquestioningly, and this view has been modified by the economists like Niskanen and Written. According to Niskanen, Harbour Burnett Modern Public Finance 2004, page 42, bureaucrats acts as utility maximizers. He argues that the bureaucrat's utility function include his salary, size of the staff working for the bureaucrat, and salaries of the staff, perquisites and power. Most of the items that are included in the bureaucrat's utility function also directly related with the size of the budget, and hence they are also called as budget maximizers. Therefore, the bureaucrat budget maximizer is playing a very important role in the decision making process of the government and not merely acting as a neutral agent of the government. The bureaucrat will always maximize his utility by finding various ways of maximizing his budget size, but on the other hand, politicians want a large size of the budget because they do not want to upset their voters. The politicians are always interested in increasing the level of quantity by giving quality service, but the bureaucrat always want to maximize his budget because it will maximize his utility. Thus, allocation of budget is not only limited to bureau's budget, but it also includes various expenses on furniture and fittings, expenditure accounts and various rents given to public sector employees. But this theory has been criticized on following grounds. In this theory, excessive importance has been given to bureaucracy, which is not necessary. This theory is unable to reveal the choice of public goods that is to be supplied by the government in the economy. It is an executive mechanism and not a decision-making authority of the bureaucrats. This theory is not much affected by the criticism because it is the first theory that discussed the importance of bureaucracy in the economic decision-making process. Let us now understand the rent-seeking activities and directly unproductive profit-seeking activities. Rent-seeking has been one of the most important concepts in the last 50 years of economics and unfortunately the most unappropriately labeled concept in economics. Gordon Tullock originated the idea in 1967 and Annie Kruger introduced the concept of label in 1974. In economics, people are said to be rent seekers when they obtain the benefit from themselves from their political area. Thus, rent seeking in economics means to increase one share of existing wealth without generating new wealth. According to Annie Kruger, Chapter 26, Rent Seeking, page 48, rent seeking is a resource using activity undertaken by individuals or groups from which they seek to profit, but from which activity there will be no increase in output. According to Purser E.C., Rent Seeking, Some Conceptual Problems and Implications, 1983, page 1, rent seeking is an attempt to economic rent paid to a factor of production in excess of what is needed by manipulating the social or political environment in which economic activities occur rather than by creating new wealth. Thus, rent seeking can be described as the activity of individuals and firms who accomplish to obtain wealth transfers with the help of the state. In rent-seeking activities, nothing specific and productive contribution is being made in the economy, but the rent seeker only works for his own self-interest and he himself is benefited by the rent-seeking activities by making certain manipulations in environmental conditions. Various examples of rent-seeking activities are government bailouts, piracy, lobbying the government, direct income transfers by the government. Thus, it can be concluded that rent-seeking activities never increases productivity nor it shows an increase in the national value in the economy. It can be said that rent-seeking activities neither leads to creation of wealth nor it benefits the economy. Thus, rent-seeking activities have a negative impact on the society. People used to seek rent because they want the benefit for themselves. They typically are engaged in such type of activities because they want a subsidy if they are manufacturing or producing any good or services. They want to acquire tariff on the goods they are producing so as to hamper their competitors. Elderly people used to seek rent because they want higher social security payments. Thus, each and every person used to seek rent for his own self-interest. Thus, rent seeking is the use for company or individual who want to obtain economic gain from others without giving any benefit to the society through wealth creation. There is one more type of activity which occupies a very important place in economics. These activities are known as directly unproductive profit-seeking activities. This term was coined by Bhagwati in 1982. He said that these are those activities which have no direct productive purpose. Neither have they did not increase any consumer utility, nor they contribute in the production of any good or service that would increase utility. These types of activities are always being motivated by the desire to make profit from market changes created by government policies. According to Bhagwati, 1982 DUP activities can be defined as ways of making a profit, that is income, by undertaking activities which are directly unproductive in the sense that they produce pecuniary returns but do not produce goods or service that enter a conventional utility function or inputs into such goods or services. Such types of activities are profitable activities, but their output is zero. These activities use real resources to produce profit, but no output, and these type of activities reduces the availability of resources which are present in the economy. According to Bhagwati 1982, the New Palgrave Dictionary 2008 second edition, the various examples of DUP activities are tariff seeking lobbying, which is aimed at earning a profitable income by changing the tariff and therefore the factor income. Revenue seeking lobbying, which helps in diversion of government revenues towards oneself as recipient of revenue. Monopoly seeking lobbying, whose objective is to create artificial monopoly, thereby generating rents from such lobbying of goods and services. Tariff evasion or smuggling, which helps in eliminating the quota and generate higher returns by exploiting the prices between legal and illegal imports. Thus, it can be said that DUP activities are wasteful activities whose output is simply zero in terms of goods and services available in the economy and moving towards a conventional utility. Let us now summarize what we have learned so far. In the democratic and global world, government has a prominent role to play in all types of economic systems present in the society. But the role of government becomes more important in socialist and mixed economy as compared to capitalism in the society. The two most important theories which help in revealing the problems of public choice are economic theory of democracy and politico-eco-bureaucracy. Economic theory of democracy is a theory of political science written by Anthony Downs in his book published in 1957. In a democratic country like India, while discussing about public choices of public goods, it is equally important to take into account the presence of political parties in the society who depicts and represents the views of the public who elect them to parliament. The theory by Anthony Downs shows that the political parties present in the society are not showing a keen interest in allocation of resources in a proper and efficient manner in the society. The median voter theorem says that politicians used to study the preferences of median voter in order to get maximum number of votes. Bureaucracy is a set of various government officials who helps in the running of the government machinery. Thus, rent seeking in economics means to increase one's share of existing wealth without generating new wealth. Rent seeking is a resource using activity undertaken by individuals or groups from which they seek to profit, but from which activity there will be no increase in output. Bhagwati said that DUP are those activities which have no direct productive purpose, neither have they did not increase any consumer utility, nor they contribute in the production of any good or service that would increase utility. Thank you.